I'm not quite certain what happened between now and then, but I'm pretty sure I was in my bed when I fell asleep last night. Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary's Mod. And today, the map we're going to be exploring is GM Valley View Mall. And I must say, I've explored a fair few malls in Gary's Mod, but, well, this is probably the most realistic one I've seen. A wide-open central concourse, tall ceilings. And if it's anything like the malls in my area, just about completely empty. Really, it only makes sense that it would be so detailed and realistic, because it's actually based quite closely on a real mall that once existed in Dallas. I say once because, sadly, it was abandoned for a time and ultimately demolished. But I suppose it lives on through people's photos, videos, and, well, even full 3D recreations like this. Although, it's not the first time that's been done. But you probably already knew that. Those of you who are watching me are probably also fans of liminal horror, and you probably know that this was the setting for Kane Pixel's The Oldest View. Oh. Yeah, I probably should have thought about how I'm actually getting out of here. Wait, there's a sign on the wall. What's next after demolition? DallasMidtown.com. But this place has already been demolished. It's like we've gone back in time to a frozen moment right before. But if it really is closed and ready to be demolished, then why are the lights on and why is there still music playing over the loudspeakers? Oh, thank goodness it's not locked. I can see only a dark night out the front doors. I was hoping for a little bit of movie theater effect, but no, it really seems like it is the dead of night. I am getting chills all over my body right now, and I don't like looking in one direction too long because I feel like I need to constantly crane my neck around, look for movement. Before I get exploring, let me tell you a little bit about my relationship with, the Kane Pixels content in general, because I really haven't seen very much of it. I know that he makes, primarily series regarding the classic backrooms and some other spaces. I know there's some really impressive technical stuff going into it, and he's really young, too. So it's a huge accomplishment. I'm sure it's all really cool, I just haven't seen very much of it, partly because, I consider, liminal stuff to be, really oversaturated, and also because I just don't have a tremendous amount of time. I spend so much time making content, I don't consume a whole lot. But my friend Matthew made me watch The Oldest View. He basically said, no, you have to watch this, you don't understand, you don't need anything else, just watch this. Again, as someone who really does not give out this praise lightly, it's excellent. This place is huge and clearly man-made, but it may as well be a cave system. What is that? Oh, it's like a statue, an art piece. God, that scared the bejesus out of me, actually. It's still kind of scaring the bejesus out of me. You've got a name tag. Something Oregon. Oh, I see. Studio Bragon. It's related to the storefront here. It looks like we're missing a couple of textures, probably minor decals. Hey there, Mr. Octopus. I imagine in a crowd of people and with more artworks adorning these halls, you would not be nearly as creepy as to just stare me down from across the pit. Oh wait, does that explain what it is? We're back. Created by La Reunion TX artists and volunteers who care about West Dallas, the oversized puppets of Bridgerama's Parade of Giants nearly stole the show during the opening weekend of the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge. See them again, learn their stories. So that makes sense. It's an art piece created for something else, but found a new life right here. I guess all along this walkway would have been more of them, but you, for whatever reason, were left behind. You look so much like a person, I can't help but feel sorry for that. Okay, can we open this? That's really weird how the handle on both doors opens even as I'm only opening one. But look at this, it seems like it's a whole art gallery set up. There was a convention. Oh, and some of it even features our friend. Come on, move out of the way. Wait, I can't get back there. Memes, too. It doesn't look like there's really any getting back there, but, I mean, look at this. The way boxes and such are all stacked back there, all this custom content. I understand a lot of these are just little, community shoutouts and such. But even still, there is a lot of custom work on here. Something else that's strange is the sound of rolling thunder out there. It's not often on liminal maps you actually hear some hint of the outside. But with the darkness, there's not much besides that. These are some pretty tall railings. Looks like down there is a little plaza where once I imagine bands would have played or various pop-ups would be. Well, let's just start looking at different stores then. Superhero Escape. Oh, we can't go that way. Now, I am a little reluctant to do this right now, but I'm just so in the mood for it right now. I know that this map is still very much a work in progress, and it's not actually completely finished. There are still, wings and stores and all that the creator wants to add. Looks like this place has been cleared out. The lights are on, though. Dead malls are so creepy. I actually explored one near me, and it's such a surreal experience exploring dead malls that you once went to when they were at their peak. I guess I'll link that in the description. It's one of my favorite Urbex experiences, even if it's a couple of places that aren't actually abandoned. I do still mourn the loss of the Rainforest Cafe. But the thing is, to see them empty in that way, it's a lot more of a personal touch. It kind of hurts. I mean, to know that these were once the place to be, the hangout spots, the places to socialize. All those memories just gonna be gone soon. And they're not just indicative of the loss of those particular memories, of that particular mall, but also of the end of an era. Time when we did more things in person, the time when you had to go out if you wanted something. These were this super convenient symbol of the future, and within a couple of decades, they were already obsolete. Well, I'd like to believe they weren't, but clearly they are. I'm seeing a lot of doors to back hallways. I'm not gonna mess with those just yet, but it seems like there probably are maintenance areas. I'm also experiencing some frame drops. Sort of makes sense. There's a lot going on here. Funnily enough, one of the malls I explored is set to be torn down at some point, I believe, replaced with apartments. But the other one, actually the less likely one, is kind of starting to make a comeback. They've kind of pivoted to more like adventure park, like really niche stuff, and it's working for them. They've got like rock climbing walls and laser tags and escape rooms and smash it, and they've done it. They've actually found a reason to have a mall where just about everything in there is something you have to leave the couch for. Good for them, I say. Especially since they're a mall that was never really popular. Can't get in there. Part of this is just me talking to keep myself company. Every once in a while, I'll just hear the echo of a thud that doesn't seem to have been from thunder. There's the music again. And I honestly can't tell if it's more comfortable with or without it. Midtown Pizza? Kosher, I guess. Oh, this used to be a small food court. Beniche Perfume Plus. But over here is where an entrance has been walled off. Nail City? Ooh. Hey, that thing was kind of lifting me up. I didn't know these things had that kind of strength. Yeah, so presumably there would have been more food options back there. The coloration of the tiles, I didn't even need the sign to know it was at one point a pretzel place. We can hop the counter, but I don't think there's any free samples left behind. I mean, who in their right mind would? That door is ajar. Okay, things are in significantly worse disrepair back here. I definitely think this is going to be one of those things that we save for a little later. It's strange, in some areas it's just like being all alone. Venture into the dark and it's like you're someplace you're not supposed to be. I think all of us used to fantasize about what it would be like to be all alone in a mall, and I don't think any of us really thought that there would be a time, not so far in the future, that you could just go to any old mall and probably be among the only ones there. What's that game show where they ask a survey group a question and then ask those same questions to the contestants, and the contestants have to try and reply based on what they think the most people would have answered? Well, if you asked, name a place with a lot of people in it, I feel like a mall would have to be near the top of that list, right? And so I think back during that time, we all would have imagined what it would have been like to have the run of a place like that, thinking of how much fun it would be to be able to do whatever we want, to have a whole kingdom to ourselves, but also about how creepy that isolation would be, about how the ambiance might change. I almost can't believe that we would have constructed something so grand. Look at this central feature of the mall. To build all of this, keep it around for a couple decades, and then just collectively decide, we don't need this anymore. We're getting rid of it. That's insane to me. Not just for how we've created this sort of natural, unnerving cave, but because of how indicative it is of how much times have changed in such a short period. Well, at least it's managing to keep its style through this music, which I really hope I'm not going to have to mute, because that would be a huge shame. I mean, looking down and seeing a completely empty area, all those dirt and scuff marks, and knowing that there's no reason for anyone to ever bother to clean it. The maps pulled down from the directory, the entrances and exits all boarded off. all these advertisements for a show that's long come and gone. But some of the remnants are still here. There's artwork on the wall. Someone painted those things. Someone spent time making these murals, probably so satisfied that thousands of people would be walking by every day to appreciate them. And now, when it's completely empty, when that'll never happen again, those same murals are still looking down at empty corridors. And in the end, it'll all be demolished just like everything else. The people who put these things in these galleries that were here when the place was demolished, they never came back for them, and I wonder if we'll ever know why. I don't know, maybe the logistics were just too much, maybe it kind of got lost in translation, nobody knew what belonged to who. But at this point, it almost doesn't matter. You know, the creator also released a companion piece, a video to go alongside it called Life of a Giant, which sort of shed light on the real-life story behind the rolling giant, and it's a little creepy and honestly tragic. I mean, I was so afraid of that thing just now. I was so afraid of that thing in the video. And then I watched that follow-up and I was like, man, I feel so bad for this friggin' giant. I mean, just to know that, like, somebody put the time in. It was someone's work of art. It was someone's baby. And to see it just forgotten and ultimately discarded along with everything else is so sad. And it makes you think that the same can be said of any artwork here, of the building itself, of the memories people have within it. And then you realize the same could be said of literally any human creation, anything that ever has or will exist. There's something else playing over here. It's like a mix between ambient music and some kind of electrical noise. What is making that sound? Leasing opportunities available? I don't think so. In fact, this whole part of the mall is very, very dirty. Wait, is this section just completely cut off from the rest of the ground floor? It is. It looks like it may have been connected at some point, but now it's just surrounded by drywall. Hey there, chair. What are you looking at? Nothing much. I've seen structures like this in smaller malls where you just go down to the ground level and it only serves as an entrance and exit. But this looks like more things used to be here and they were walled off. See, the thing is, malls don't tend to close down all at once. They experience a period of decline until eventually there's only a few stores open, maybe a few anchor stores that are only accessible from the outside. And only once those leave do these places close down for good, forever. Look at that. I legitimately think there is no real way to reach here. And yet those kiosks, those chairs and tables are still down there. I could have sworn I just saw something move. But the giant is still right where I left it, so that's nice. I have long heard it said that the strictest definition of a liminal space is a transitional one, something that acts as a threshold between areas. And it's unnerving because it seems to be both a threshold and a final destination. I think this map fits the bill, not necessarily in the physical sense, where you'd normally think of a liminal space as something like a hallway or a staircase or a door. This is transitional in the sense that it seems permanently locked in between being someplace that's full of life and activity. You can't imagine it any other way. And yet it's not yet demolished. It's not yet disused. There's no one here, but the lights are on, the music is playing. Some stores are gone, but others are here. It's just in permanent limbo. And the fact that we can't determine where it is during that transition, that it's always changing, that the music goes on and off, that's what makes it unnerving. Let's keep looking. And as I've said, it's not just true of the mall itself, but of everything in it. Things are a bit darker down this way. Oh, hey, look at that, a Sears. Don't see too many of those anymore. The last time I was in a Sears was about 2016, and one of the employees tried to get me in on a scheme to steal jeans. I am not kidding. Tornado shelter behind that absurdly large door. Okay, once more, we're saving the back areas for a little later. I suppose it does apply in the physical sense because this hallway is wide, which of course makes sense when there's hundreds of people walking through it, but when you're the only one here, well, it makes you feel pretty small. Looks like there's a room back there we can explore. The styling of the place is still here. We can see what looks like a couple of changing rooms, but no actual labels of a company. Exit. But is it really? Oh. I saw a silhouette in there, and I kind of had a mini heart attack for a second. Yeah, none of these places look very nice. I'll stay out on the main streets for as long as I possibly can, thank you very much. The toolbox. Hardware store, it's probably good if we start opening all these shutters, right? Oh, look at that. The sign's been removed from the storefront, but the one on the floor, nobody's job. And that's the thing that strikes you when you explore dead malls is you look at certain things that have been left behind and you're like, how is it nobody's job to deal with that? And these little imperfections of that closing down state also make this more unnerving. Like, you typically expect from liminal space images something that's, like, oddly pristine. And we get that in some areas, because it is just closed. It's not been abandoned for a time. There's upkeep. And yet other areas just aren't a priority. And so you have furniture knocked over, doors left open. Just another way this place seems to constantly contradict itself. When we're down in these wings, we realize that music is only really playing in the central hub. And for as brightly lit as the main concourses remain, well, it's still just as dark in other areas, although it looks like there's something open in the back of that store. And you know, it's making it so that... Oh, look at that! We had seen some collapsed areas in the hallways, but here, it actually looks like it's just spilling into the main area. And that kind of is part of what makes the oldest view so creepy. See, I don't want to spoil that video, so you can skip ahead a few seconds if you don't want to know, but basically, this mall is discovered by going down a long, long staircase found in a random hole in the woods. And so it's very often easy to forget that not only should none of this exist, we shouldn't be able to look up and see only a dark night sky. And that loud rumbling we can hear whenever we get close, completely independent of the thunder. It makes me wonder if we're not in the best possible shelter for us, for as creepy as it is. We wonder what's in here with us, and we wonder what could be out there. Can we open these doors? We can't. But there's clearly something back there. Maybe we will have to go through the back rooms. I may just leave some of the backtracking uncut. Because it's always these moments when I'm just walking from one area to the other, where I've exhausted what I can do and have to turn back. That's the most unsettling. I almost expected to see something perched up there. Those features that once gave this place a sense of depth, now just in darkness, something else for my eyes to scan. Okay, you're still over there. For a second I lost track of where you were, and I was really worried. Okay. We can go up, or we can go down. Yep. The subway doesn't lie. They're just using drywall to close up storefronts. Presumably that was the strategy while the place was slowly losing business, and they knew that there was no way any of it was ever coming back. Of course, once they know that the property is done for, they just kind of stop bothering and let the leases expire. It looks like this thing was an elevator. Take you from a ground floor that at this point hardly even exists anymore, up to the second. But it doesn't go all the way up to the third. So I imagine the anchor business here would probably have been an AMC theater, right? Every once in a while, I just get jump scared by comforting music. Guest services. Look at that. It's in such a perfect state of stasis that there's even somebody's drink still left out on the counter. I can actually see a couple of maps here, but there's just not very much left of it. Alright, I swear there was another place we could look. I swear there was another corridor we could go down. Where did we first come from? Yeah, we can enter the back from most of these stores. Oh, I think it was that right there. Chinese Avenue. Can we open those doors? Nope, in fact, we can't even get close. Oh, look at that. There's some dust suspended under that skylight. Whoa, wait. I keep seeing these. I saw them elsewhere as well, these squiggly arrows painted on the wall. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing a mall would want posted up, confusing people with signage. Okay, dark silhouette is the directory board. It's the directory board. And that is the leaf of a potted plant, not someone peering around a corner. Oh, look, the IRS offices actually have working computer screens. Yeah, it's this cheap rented space that is always the last to go in malls. They've got their whole break room back here, or And maybe it's even going on to a neighboring store. Yeah. Oh, it's an accountant's office. Yep. Yep. When you start seeing stuff like this in the mall, you know it's not long for this earth. The most dystopian thing I've ever seen was a retirement home that takes applications in the mall. Exit to something that's no longer there. IH635. But outside the glass, there's nothing but stone. Like the cave deep in the earth that this place occupies has been hollowed out, and there's simply nothing else. It's in moments like this that you go from being creeped out, being someplace you're not supposed to be, to fully recognizing that it's someplace that shouldn't be. One of the biggest reasons I find the oldest view scary is because of the relatable elements. The relatability of the location that most people have been to. The fact that, unlike other things, there is imperfection. There's dirt. There's misplaced objects. There's signage in plain English. And yet all of it is just off. It's like a bad dream. We've still got to explore the third level, if there is indeed anything up there, because it looks like there's a whole lot of drywall. Maybe it's more indicative of the map itself being under construction. But before we mess around with that, I think we should check out these back hallways, which I'm not looking forward to, as by far the darkest parts of this already crushing abyss. Man, just look at this thing, huh? You know, at the end of the Rolling Giant video, it sort of draws a comparison between that structure and, like, some kind of ancient religious site. If you were to leave this place rotting, anything was left hundreds or thousands of years from now, what would they think? For us to just casually decide that we're done with it. Well, we could actually also come down here. We never actually checked this out. Mainly because if our rolling giant decided to start rolling, we'd be pretty well trapped. And I see that this area down here is much the same look. It even had these little light posts, so while you're dining down here, you could simulate being at the edge of the water at a restaurant in Venice. Farthest thing. Well, at least the escalators are clipped. Truly a lost art. We never actually did enter this store. And there's something that oddly creeps me out about those slatted wood walls. These things were popular in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And I don't know, something about the look of them, the smell of them. I can smell it even just looking at this. Everything's all angular and hip. I love it, but I kind of hate it. Oh, wait. Is this back hallway, is this a different one from the one that we accessed from next door? Or can we simply not open that one? No. Hey, we can actually move this thing. Alright, so I guess let's bite the bullet and get back here then. This tunnel seems to be fairly intact. My God, you were framed up right in the doorway. I hate that. Oh, come on. Alright, well there should be some more right around the corner here. If we go back this way, just me, or are those thuds getting more frequent? Oh, right, this was the really awful hallway. Alright, well, let's make our way through then. You hear that? Oh my god, that's long. Locked. Most of these doors seem to lead to nowhere. God, it's so cluttered. And why does the ceiling have to be so high? What? Something's out there. Oh my god! Wait, back here, through here. It's that store! It's that one open store! Wait, 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 oh god, please open. Please open, please open, please open, please open, please open! No? No? Okay, my whole freaking body just started quaking seeing that. Okay, go, 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 go! Run, 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 run! This way, this way, this way. Oh, what am I doing not having the flashlight out? Go! Oh my god! My spine is still shaking. Okay, no, this way, this way, this way. You knocked the door off the hinges! Okay, but you came from... Or did you? What store even is this? Open. I don't know if this will help. I don't know if this will help. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready to turn around and see that silhouette coming around the corner of the pillar. I can still hear it, but I can't make out a direction. Okay, through here, through here, through here. Oh my god, there it is. In... Oh no, this is this just gonna be a storage room? Does this go to the back hallways? It does. Oh, it does. This is that pink place next door. Not to be confused with VP Pink Place. Oh, although, given the setting, maybe. It's another of those tornado shelter doors. Oh, there's a really weird corner here. I hear it again. Hey. Which way? It's that one. It's there. Howdy. Are you struggling with the custom door? I shouldn't be laughing. That means I'm gonna have to go past it to get around. Open. Hurry. Hurry. Hurry and open! Oh, look at that! You just push all that stuff out of the way! Run. Run. I don't know if I'm fast enough. I don't know if I'm fast enough. Okay, look. Look. There is one part left to this map. And that's gonna be up here. Let's go, go, go. I hate that so much. I hate the way you move. There is potentially somewhere to go. Wait, but no, we would have to, no, there's no way. Oh, but maybe there's an opening here. There it goes, 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 there it goes. Thankfully, it's actually not that hard to get over here. When you don't have fear of falling to overcome, screw you. Oh, I was startled by that's just one of your things rolling there. Oh, we made it. And the music is playing us out. Oh my god, I am so happy that they decided to include this little bit of the ending. Oh my god, That might be, the moment I saw that thing might be the most scared I've ever been on a map like this. Alright, I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but right now, let's just focus on making it out. Look, there's a gap right here. Too small for us to fit through, though, and too much of a distraction for us to care. When I didn't see the staircase inside that store, I thought they weren't going to do it. Oh, but look at this now. It's like being in an old bunker. Everything is so tight and narrow. There's waves of dirt on the floor. But from deep down below, we can still hear the echo of that music. I don't think... The Oldest View is by far my favorite piece of liminal media, and I think I have even a newfound appreciation for it now that I've experienced it. There's a light from up there. I may have to update the Easter egg on my map, on the Minecraft creative world. Things are so tiny and narrow now, I'm starting to have to crouch to even fit up here. But there's our exit. For everything we've been through, I got the one ending I did not expect. And that's to actually make it back to the real world, to see sunlight. Yeah. Which, in this map, is represented by a white void. And we can peek down and see the nightmare we're leaving. This might be the scariest experience I've ever had in Garry's Mod. I really feel that way right now. My shoulders are still shaking. But I think part of that is the context. I mean, like, obviously for our little climax there, I did place down an NPC and just kind of get away from it before I started exploring the tunnels. So I knew it was going to show up at some point. I also used a command to reduce its speed. But everything after that was completely unplanned and dynamic. That was heart-stopping. I honestly wasn't even sure if I should do it, but that worked out beyond my wildest expectations. See, the thing about The Oldest View is that it's a very slow burn. From the discovery of that hole in the ground to the long, long walk down there. And even after all that, you're only just getting started. You've only just discovered the mall. And then there's so much walking around, exploring, allowing the atmosphere to worm its way in and unsettle you even before you discover the giant. But this video actually mostly accidentally ended up following the pacing quite well. We discovered it, but it was just sort of that creepy thing in the corner for the longest time. Until suddenly it wasn't. Seriously, if you've come this far and have not seen The Oldest View, then first of all, shame on you for not going and watching that first. But also, go do it anyway because it is so, so great. It's one of my favorite pieces of horror ever. It's a pretty popular sentiment nowadays that entities are kind of detrimental to the liminal genre and have kind of helped to hasten their stagnation. It's partly due to oversaturation, but also just because the whole point of liminality is letting the environments be the star of the show, of letting them speak for themselves. And for the most part, I agree with that idea, but this is something where I really do feel like it successfully does both. Having both a terrifying presence that doesn't overshadow the environment. And it's because that entity is part of the environment. It's something that really was left behind there. In fact, if you watch videos of people urbexing the place when it was in its abandoned state, when it was fully dilapidated, you can even see sometimes the remains of that giant as just garbage on the floor, practically unnoticed amid all the other debris. It's incredibly sad to see. And it kind of is fitting that it would kind of live on as the soul of the place, as the voice of the place. But hey, there is a bright side. Through works like The Oldest View and through this map, that piece of art has probably gotten far more mileage than the artist ever expected, right? It's kind of like it was given another chance at life. In that way, it's immortal. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this map or this NPC out for yourself, those links will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Now imagine we see that thing come rolling up the stairs. It can't. There's no ramp. Bonus track, bonus track. Let's, wow. I just fell so hard I crashed Gary's mod. Here's the original giant alongside his stunt double. Say hello. And I figured I couldn't let this go without at least doing a no-clip run, so let's return here. Wonder if there's anything we might have missed, maybe even in the areas outside the walls? Oh my god. Hey there, you're not just a mannequin. Oh my god, look at your face. You actually look really familiar. I feel like I've seen you as like a movie prop or something. You're actually inside a closed down store, one that hasn't been opened. Okay, so already there's reason to look around. You keep following me, buddy. I made you even a little bit slower for this one so you don't harass me too much. Yeah, some of these places look like maybe they will be used for something in future updates. Once more, I kind of feel bad for doing this when it's not fully finished, but I think we get the idea anyway. I'm so stoked when things just sort of naturally happen in a cool way. Like before, I was just here kind of lamenting the fact that I couldn't get through. And then to eventually end up trapped in here just from the other side in a dire moment, that was awesome. And what is that over there? You're also in a sealed off area by the pretzel place. Man, that is one cool blue head crab. I wish I were half as cool as this guy. One thing I love about this next spot, the fact that you can just hear it slowly rolling toward you, the fact that it actually has a force setting for being able to push things out of the way. Hang on, let's see some of that in action. Yeah, it's kind of a behind-the-scenes epilogue, but that's what I do in most of these videos, right? Come on, let's see you do it. I mean, this thing is so big and wide. It kind of makes me understand why making yourself look big scares bears away. I mean, realistically, this thing doesn't weigh that much. You could probably push it over. Wow. See, with something like this, when you meet it in something that is already such a place from a nightmare, it's almost like the way a child thinks of monsters, just that nebulous idea of monsters. Because what is a monster gonna do? It's gonna get you. What does getting you actually entail? I don't know, but do you want to find out? Oh, here would be a great lane to see what it can do. The way it silhouettes itself every time it rounds a corner. I definitely think the way to go with this thing is to slow it down to like 130, 115. By default, it's at like 270 or something like that. It really gives the impression of it being an unstoppable force. Right here, bud. There we go. It's like a freight train. Actually, if you manage to get one of these round benches stuck on you, it would be kind of like a cow pusher. Oh wait, will it work like a cow pusher? Will it keep me away from you? Nope! Eventually I'll be crushed by it, but it works temporarily.